This may look like an astronaut training for the Olympics, but that's not what's really happening here.
For the ISS, you want a rigid lower half with the ability to rotate around the waist, and then a consistent working envelope, which is about right here in front of you. Easy to translate along the handrails. So low torque in the upper joints. Good dexterity in the gloves is a big one.
Eric Vallis is a senior systems engineer. He's been testing out a prototype of a new spacesuit, which NASA hopes to use on the International Space Station by 2026.
The spacesuits that are being used now in the International Space Station by NASA are suits that were really designed in the 70s. These are suits that were originally designed for the Space Shuttle program. Due to the lack of funding, NASA kept working on them, kept repairing them and maintaining them for all these many years, but really these are suits that are at the end of their useful life.
NASA tried to update its suits in the past. A 2021 report by NASA's Office of Inspector General found that NASA has spent over a decade and an estimated $420 million to develop a next-generation replacement for its aging spacesuits, but failed to produce any operational suits. Estimates show that by the time new spacesuits are actually in use, NASA will have spent more than $1 billion on the redesign and production.
There were two different issues. One was lack of funding. NASA had to get funds, sometimes from other projects to fund their suit. And the second problem was that there was no destination. The projects of NASA have been moving through different political agendas during the last few years, and something that you need in any scientific and technological organization is a purpose and a timeline.
NASA is now going another route, contracting with commercial companies to make and maintain its new suits.
So without further ado, I am very happy to announce that the awardees will be Axiom Space and Collins Aerospace Industry Team.
CNBC got a rare look inside Collins Aerospace's new 120,000 square foot manufacturing and testing facility, located at the Houston Spaceport in Texas, where the company showed us its new spacesuit. NASA's current spacesuits, known as extravehicular mobility units, or EMUs in NASA speak, are very complex.
The current spacesuit has roughly 18,000 components that make it up, and the interior volume of the suit is roughly equivalent to the size of a small refrigerator, about 5.5 cubic feet.
There have been a number of safety concerns over the years due to the aging spacesuits.
The final investigation is in following the near drowning in space of that Italian astronaut doing a spacewalk outside the International Space Station. His equipment failed him. In fact, they say it was his calm demeanor that probably saved his life after his helmet filled with water.
In 2022, NASA temporarily suspended all spacewalks following another incident where an astronaut's helmet filled with water.
We're starting to see some degradation of performance, some components that need to be replaced. So on Space Station, we're really watching very, very closely the performance of the EMUs while they are still on orbit. In the meantime, these new suits for this particular failure of water in the helmet, the new designs are designed such that that failure mechanism cannot occur.
Inventory issues are also a problem. In 2019, NASA was forced to cancel what would have been the first all-female spacewalk on the International Space Station because the agency did not have the proper spacesuit sizes available for both female astronauts.
In the beginning of human space exploration, the spacesuits were custom-made. With the beginning of the Space Shuttle program, there was this idea of abandoning the custom size system and going to small, medium, and large. That worked for a while, but as our astronaut corps is getting more and more diverse, the sizes don't work anymore.
NASA's Office of Inspector General also noted that of the original 18 primary life support system units, only 11 remain in NASA's inventory to support the ISS program, with only 4 of these units actually on the ISS at any given time for astronauts to use during spacewalks.
These are suits that were originally designed not to be serviced in space, but to be serviced here on Earth, because they were dependent on the space shuttle. So now kind of changed the